The camera looks all peachy. Sorry if it starts varying colors, because usually I can get this filter to make it look like normal in here, like white. But yeah, this camera really picks up like the yellowy color in the light bulb indoors. But yeah, I have been able to get it to look like white. Yeah, this camera works good outside and in the daytime, but yeah, at night with the unnatural lighting, it gets all weird. So sorry if it starts like changing, if it starts looking brighter instead of peachy. I tried to get it to look brighter, but yeah, I don't know if it's not working anymore, but yeah, I definitely need to get a new camera. And oh my gosh, it is snowing like cats and dogs outside. But yeah, anyways, in this video I wanted to talk about promiscuity. So yeah, I definitely prefer serious relationships over casual relationships. I have hooked up a couple of times. It wasn't it wasn't fulfilling to me. I felt like I was being treated as a sexual object rather than a sexual being. And yeah, I've heard similar experiences from other women. I think this is because throughout society and throughout history, women's sexuality was mostly ignored. Like, there's no sense of women having a physical attraction to men and being sexual beings. And I think this is why there's a tendency to think that women don't care about looks, but men do. Just like there are men who want women they are attracted to, there are women who want men they are attracted to. Like, like the prevailing idea is that men are sexual beings and women are emotional beings. And yeah, I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. Like, I wouldn't be having sex if it wasn't for my own personal pleasure. And kind of the vibe that I got, with casual sex is that I'm just there, to please a man for what the man wants. You hear these days that women have a higher body count and that people are sleeping with hundreds of men and women. I don't know. To me, that kind of sounds like a 14-year-old talking about like hundreds of chicks he banged or whatever. But to me, it seems like that's a lot of energy. Like, there's only so many hours in the day. Like, where do you find the time, to be doing all of this? It's not anyone's business, honestly. To me, it's going to be assumed to be higher anyways. Like, anyone can say anything, but I have a different view on this, I guess, because a lot of men aren't physically attractive to me. So, yeah, if I was out here sleeping around, I wouldn't be just going with men who aren't my type just to do it. Like, why would I mess with them if they aren't of any interest in the first place? Like the guys I were involved with casually, I felt like some sort of chemistry, some sort of, connection where I could see it going further, basically. Like, they were at least acquaintances. Like, I never hooked up with like random people or like anyone at the club or anything like that. Like, that's not my thing. Definitely not into that type of thing. But it was also fine to me if it didn't really go much anywhere as well. So yeah, I thought these guys were pretty good catches, and it still ended up pretty cold in the bedroom. So yeah, that's why I prefer serious relationships. In my view, you can communicate better, you can learn what each other likes, and the emotional bond is, one of my favorite parts of, doing it. So yeah, it's more intimate, a better intimate experience. And there's also STDs, pregnancy, and yeah, always use protection, but it's not 100% effective. And there's things like how men's rights activists talk about how women will use men to get pregnant, but there's also stealthing, or where a guy won't want to use the condom, they'll take the condom off during sex, or they'll want to get a woman pregnant. Men's rights activists act like it's only women who do this, but yeah, I did look into the stats. It's basically the same stat. It was like uh, 8.2% done by men, 8.6% by women. So, it's pretty much the same. Um, so, yeah, it's not risk free. It's a little more riskier than I would personally like. We're talking about pregnancy, diseases. So, yeah. I'm not like totally against it. I mean, it wasn't like it was horrible or anything like that. It was just, lackluster. I didn't quite get what I wanted out of it. But, if I'm, gonna go, like, why am I gonna go out of my way like that for, someone I'm not building a relationship with? You know what I mean? But yeah, if I'm, really attracted to someone and I want to get closer to them, I don't think I would be completely, against it, having a fling or whatever. But yeah, that's not something I do on the that I would do on the regular. You know, it would be more of a special type of case. I prefer celibacy, or the vibrator in your apartment. To me, it's just simpler than trying to work with someone that you're not really in a relationship with. And yeah, you'll see men who try to shame women who are promiscuous or who've had premarital sex and say, that they want virgins and things of that nature. And yeah, the 20 partners, it somehow turns into hundreds. They start thinking hundreds of different things. I always thought this had to do with, competition. A man thinking that if a woman's been promiscuous, that she's had more experiences, and he's thinking that oh, he has to live up to that. He has to compete with that. So yeah, I thought it's like a thing where he's thinking he's in a competition with other men. It's like I literally heard a guy say online that he doesn't want to date single moms because he doesn't want to compete with a baby's head. I'm like, yeah, that's not how that works. And like, these guys are the main ones who want women to have sex with them, but yeah, they're acting like sex is such a terrible thing, like it's a crime or something. Like, they give off the energy that it's wrong to have sex with them. Well, if that's the case, then I don't know how they expect to ever get laid with that mentality. People just move on and say, oh, well, apparently, to him, having sex is equated to some type of crime. But then they want women to have sex with them. They never make any sense. I think some of these men love promiscuous women. They love loose women. They love provocative women. But they're taught by society they're not supposed to want what they want. So, yeah, they're suppressed by society and taught not to take these women seriously, even though they love these type of women. So they go for something they want less. I will say that hookup culture helped remove the stigma of women hooking up. A woman, a person shouldn't be shamed for hooking up outside of marriage. Um, Women still are shamed, but yeah, women shouldn't be shamed for, premarital sex, having sex outside of marriage or whatever. So, yeah, I think it gives women choice and a sense of agency and control with what they do with their own lives. But onto the idea that promiscuity is bad for women. The female is not made to have a lot of sex partners. That's not true at all. What's the difference with being with a couple of people and being with a lot of people? You could have sex with one or two people and have more sex than someone who's had sex with 100 people. Women can't stand to have sex as often. That is not true at all. Promiscuous people have more sex. That is not true. A person who's had sex with one or two people can have more sex than a promiscuous person who had sex with 100 people. Promiscuity doesn't mean that you're better at sex. People assume that it means you're more experienced and more open-minded. You could have sex with 2 or 3 people and be open-minded, and you experience a lot of different things sexually. You could have sex with 100 people and still have very simple sex. Why would it be beneficial for a man to be promiscuous when it comes to monogamous relationships? That is not a benefit at all. It might just mean he is more likely to cheat and make the relationship dysfunctional. I don't see how this applies to women and not to men. A man is more likely to impregnate a woman when he is promiscuous, and this is a terrible situation. Not know the kid, not know the woman, and just leave a terrible situation because he did not know who he was sleeping with. He does not know, and then he finds out. That's a pretty bad situation. And then there are diseases you can get from sleeping around: herpes, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and you know how that can affect women's health if they are with someone who is promiscuous. You guys don't want to address the other side of it. You want to disparage promiscuous women, but in reality, promiscuous men are for promiscuous women. They feel so bad about it and act like it's okay to be promiscuous if you're a man. If I'm not promiscuous and I have a low body count, why would I want a promiscuous man? It makes more sense to pass over the guy who's sleeping around. I see promiscuity the same for a man as I do for a woman. It's stupid not to, in my opinion. Men have more anger for their promiscuity than women do. When a woman is not promiscuous and he views her as less attainable and all he is ever with is very promiscuous women, he starts to feel grimy and he starts to feel tarnished. And that brings out anger and aggression. You don't see that with women. If you are unhappy with being promiscuous and all that comes with it, then you should stop doing it. They think that body count is something that women have a problem with and an insecurity about. At least those women know where they are. But you know who really doesn't understand where they belong? Nobody ever pays attention to the man who has a high body count but is still trying to go after the woman with a low body count, and expects a low body count woman to want a high body count man. This is nowhere near where he belongs, and that is with a high body count woman who can match him. No woman who likes having a low body count wants to be with a man who has a high body count. They might have drug use issues, self-esteem issues, STD issues. Who has time to be dealing with someone who has gone through a different lifestyle than them? I don't want these types of men who've been sleeping with hundreds of women. If you've been with a whole bunch of women and you're just giving your body to anyone, then it seems like you don't value yourself that much then. I don't get why women should value this. With body count, these type of men act like women are the one with the issue. Well, no. We're talking about the woman you're supposed to be with. It takes two to have sex, and you both do that. So stop going after women who don't want to have a high body count by sleeping with you. They don't go where they belong, so they complain about promiscuous women, but they were being promiscuous with those women. So what do they expect? Of course they are with their equal.